slash inflation?
Oh, inflation is certainly out of control. The fact that it has come down from 40-year highs does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that the Federal Reserve has put the beast back in its cage. And if you look at what monthly inflation has been doing and you annualize that and you compare that with the data before the pandemic, what you find is that we are essentially running about twice as high in terms of inflation, which makes sense given the elevated levels of spending and borrowing by the United States government. And so until we get that under control, until we get the federal government's fiscal house in order, the inflation is going to continue.
I was reading about personal finances in the US and how savings are sort of diminishing basically, like, year on year. So do you think like Americans are headed for this sort of death spiral of personal finance?
Sadly, a lot of American families are already in that position because, unfortunately, inflation outpaced wages so fast during the Biden administration, a record 26 consecutive months when you look at annual earnings increases compared to annual inflation. Many families were forced to make ends meet by utilizing credit cards and going into debt. And the result of that was record credit card balances of over $1 trillion at the same time that interest rates on those credit cards has hit record highs. And so families who previously were unable to pay back their finance charges and their balances are now especially unable to do so because the financing charges have gone up, even if they haven't actually put any more onto those credit card balances. And so that's where you get into that death spiral, where the amount of money accruing in finance charges alone exceeds what a family can actually pay towards that card. It works like a mortgage, but in reverse.